Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday, September 23rd. We are rocking and rolling through this month. It's going by so fast. I'm your host, Bree Cox Kennedy. We've got a great show for you today. We've got Home Helpers with Dwight Brown coming in to help us understand if you might need help at home. And then Michael's going to be back on the show today with Orange County Plastic Surgery, Dr. Juris Bunkus and Deborah Ekstrom. So we look forward to getting an introduction on their services that they provide over there at Orange County Plastic Surgery. But first, folks, we always want to keep you informed what's going on around the village. Now it's time to get ready for the Fall Village Bazaar. That's going to be taking place Saturday, October 25th, so in just about a month. It'll go from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Clubhouse 5. Residents can reserve a booth starting Thursday, September 25th at 8 a.m. through ActiveNet. Booths are $25 and include an 8-foot table and 2 chairs with 1 indoor space allowed per resident. Space is limited and setup runs from 8 to 9:30 a.m. on the day of the event. And also please note, folks, that food cannot be sold at this event. For additional details, you can call 949-597-4382 or email recreation@vmsinc.org. I'm sure that's always a very fun afternoon of socializing and finding beautiful things you didn't know you needed. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast, folks. We're soaking up pretty much plenty of sunshine this morning. It's been great this morning. Today and Wednesday will stay warm in the low to mid 80s. So if you're heading to pickleball or the pool, don't forget your sunscreen. By Thursday through Saturday, we cool off into the mid to high 70s, with evenings dropping down to the mid to low 60s. All in all, it's another classic Southern California week. A little bit of summer, a little bit of fall, but always perfect for getting outside. Sunrise this morning was at 6:40 a.m. Sunset will be at 6:45. Look at that. Wouldn't you love to be kayaking in that lake? Beautiful summer lake in Oregon. This photo was sent to us by Dennis Harper. If you'd like to send us your beautiful photos, we'd love to show them on this beautiful show. Please email those to us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Please send us your name, where the photo was taken from, and of course, in that horizontal format. Next up, we've got just one meeting to tell you about before we head on over to the break. And then when we come back, Home Helpers will be here.
So I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. You sort of think you get it once, you might be done with it, but yeah, they decided it wasn't done with me yet. In 2017, they diagnosed me with mantle cell lymphoma.
And we're devastated, we're beside ourselves.
Dennis, he's my star. He's my superstar. We've just done a lot of adventures together. We've had a really good life. I knew about City of Hope. I had done a little research. I knew they had a comprehensive cancer center for lymphoma. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going any place, I'm going with a place that does research and that knew what they were doing.
We walked in that place with an untreatable cancer, and a month later walked out cancer-free.
Hope to me means being able to see the light through the darkness of cancer. With City of Hope as our partner in all this, I couldn't be more proud to have them walking beside me.
Welcome to OCI Care, Laguna Woods' premier laser and premium cataract surgery center.
I just wanted my cataracts removed. It was pain-free. I was so impressed because I was so frightened to have it done. After surgery, I was able to use my eyes immediately. It was a miracle, really.
It's just been wonderful to be able to see everything. It's even better than he said it was going to be because I saw instantly.
Do you or your loved ones want to continue living at home safely, but are starting to see signs of Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, maybe it's recent strokes or falls? Having a caregiver at home can be the best way to keep you in home safely. Home Helpers has been providing caregivers for over 25 years. Call us today or join us at Laguna Cafe for free pie and coffee, and we'll answer your questions about caregiving. It's the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., and space goes quickly, so RSVP now.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I've got Dwight Brown with me with Home Helpers. He's going to help us figure out if you need help at home. Hi, Dwight.
Hi, Bree. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
Has it already been a month? I can't believe it.
You know, honestly, I announce the show every morning, and I'm like, how can it possibly be September 23rd?
And fall just started. We're going into the holidays.
We
Can't
are,
believe it. Yeah.
It'll be Christmas before we know it.
Oh, gotta do my shopping.
I know. Well, let's talk about caregiving at home.
Yeah.
How long have you had your business?
I've been in this business about 10 years. I opened up this office about 2 years ago. I took over from a person that had been doing it. So this Home Helpers has been around probably 15 years, and I've been operating it for about 2.
Have you really gotten to know the community?
Yes, you know, every community's different. Before this, I was in Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village area, and I got to know that community really, really well. I think Laguna Woods is a little harder in a way because since I don't live there, it's gated and it's a little tougher for me to kind of be a part of the community. But I go to Polly's Pies, I go to the Snooty Fox and Laguna Cafe, so I'm pretty integrated into the community. My business is right around the corner where the DMV, across from where the DMV is.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
So you have a physical location?
I do, yeah, I have an office. It's catty corner from where the DMV that's now closed, but catty corner from there. So there's a little lake on that corner, and I'm right next to that little lake.
Beautiful. Yeah. And do you invite members of our community to come see you in your office?
It's very rare. Anybody can come. I'm licensed by the state, and my license is that I'm open 24/7. So people can come 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's pretty rare that clients come to my office. I think I've had 2 in the last 2 years that actually come by. Usually I go visit people in their homes to give them what we call an assessment. So when someone calls us and needs our care, I go into the home, get to know them, get to understand what they're looking for, and then kind of take a look at their house. So it's pretty rare that they need to come to me. My employees come to the office just about every day. I'm hiring people, interviewing people. So it's more of a location for the employees to do their training and hiring.
Right. So talk to me about the process of hiring an employee, because I know a lot of the resistance from people who are getting to that place in their life, they need or are contemplating or thinking about maybe bringing somebody in. But the hesitation is like, I don't want a stranger in my house. I don't feel like I can completely relax in my own environment. I've got somebody, sort of looking over me, if you will, all the time.
Yes, I hear that a lot. I like to think of caregivers, the word caregiver is almost a bad word in a way, because when I say caregiver, people immediately think, I don't need a nurse.
Sick.
I don't need a nurse, right? And most of my caregivers I would consider more like personal assistants or helpers. Just like, people resist getting a house cleaner, and then they get a house cleaner and they think, why did I wait?
How did I survive without
That's exactly. If you think of a caregiver or a helper or an assistant like that, most of the caregivers that I send in, they're not doing medical, quote unquote, medical care or the borderline of that. A lot of them are helping with laundry, changing bed sheets, providing transportation to doctor's appointments or to get nails and hair done. They're helping prepare meals in the morning. The most common request I get is 3 days a week, usually in the morning. The most common phone call I get is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, looking for help from 9 to 1 or 10 to 2. And that's because people are a little more disoriented, a little weaker in the morning, they're a little more prone to fall. And so the caregiver comes by, helps prepare breakfast, starts a load of laundry. They can finish that load of laundry before they leave in 3 or 4 hours. And then before they go, they can prepare lunch and even maybe get dinner ready. And so then the dinner is ready and just needs to be reheated. So most of what we're doing, I mean, Brad Pitt has a personal assistant. Why shouldn't everybody, right?
Totally agree.
He's a fit and young guy, right? He just, if you need any kind of help, someone can be there to help you. It doesn't have to be all the time. It can be short spurts of time when it's convenient for you.
And so can your clients sort of do their a la carte where they'd say, yeah, I need a driver, I want somebody, as you said, change my sheets, I want somebody to play a game with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so most cases, I tell people, you're the boss. You tell us what you want, and I will find you a person to do it. In my opinion, in this business, size matters. Meaning, the bigger the company, the better. The more employees I have, the better I can make a match for you.
Right.
So in the time that I've been doing this, I've grown it up to about 165 caregivers that I have. And that gives me the power that when you call me, and I've literally gotten phone calls that are, I need somebody that speaks this language, is available from 8 to 10, and is okay driving my Cadillac for me, right? And if I only had 5 employees, good luck, right?
Right.
With 165 people, I actually make it so that I can send a couple to interview, and I pay for that interview. You can meet 2 or 3 people, and you tell me who you like. And that you're the boss. You pick what you want to do. So, and it's always a la carte. The only thing I tell people is you just be consistent with the time that you want somebody to come out. If you have somebody come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, and then you want them next week, Tuesday, Thursday, that same employee is not going to be available. So the consistency of schedule, nobody wants a different person every week. My goal is to always send you the same person over and over again. Right. You don't want to have to train some stranger every week.
No.
So I want it to be so that you meet Joanna, and Joanna is your person that comes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that's only really possible if the schedule is consistent.
Right. Now, Dwight, how are you screening these employees so that clients have true peace of mind that they're not going to go, look in some closet or some drawers or get into some personal information?
So there's a few things. So about 15 years ago, the state stepped in and mandated that all caregivers be licensed through the state of California Department of Social Services. So I'm not allowed to just find a random person, sign them up, and send them to your home. I have to get them a license with the state, and then the state does all of the background checking for me. Mm-hmm. They check the Department of Justice databases, they check state databases. If any criminal activity is found, I'm not allowed to hire them. And then after I hire somebody, they are then associated with my business in the state. So if that person goes and commits a crime, the state notifies me and I have to terminate them. I wasn't in the business prior to this. I imagine it was kind of the Wild West before that.
It probably was.
So each business was going and they were expected to do background checks. Now the background checks are mandatory. 99% of the people that come to my office already have a license. They've been doing this a while. They've been licensed through the state. So it's pretty rare that I get somebody that just walks in and says, I've never done caregiving and I need my license. Most of the people that come in have been doing it a while. They're already licensed. They're already cleared by the state.
So that would give clients peace of mind versus going to something like Craigslist and finding.
Yeah, and we talked about this on a previous month. The challenge, there's a double challenge with that. Number one, you don't know who you're getting. If they're on Craigslist, it probably means they couldn't get their license, right? It probably means that they were not allowed to get hired by me, so they've gone and put themselves out on the internet, right? That's number one. Number two, they're not going to be insured, and that's a big, big problem. The issue there is if they are injured in your home, you don't want to be liable for that injury.
No.
If one of my employees comes into your home and is injured, I'm liable. I have workers' compensation insurance, I have liability insurance. So you're protected. Who is that employee and their attorney going to go after? They're going to come after me because I have insurance. They're going to leave you alone. So there's a double risk, in my opinion, of going on the internet and finding somebody. You could always, of course, find someone on the internet, ask them if they're licensed, ask them to do a background check, ask them to get insurance and all of that. My guess is they're going to go look elsewhere because they're not going to want to go through that process. It's part of my job is to take care of all of that.
Yeah, well, very important. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
Your monthly meetings. Or is it weekly or monthly?
I do it
meetings?
monthly. The first Tuesday of every month, I do a meeting at Laguna Cafe, which is in the same shopping center as Aldi, next to the Coffee Bean. So it will be the first Tuesday of October.
What time?
I think that might be the 7th-ish at 10:30 in the morning. And then I pay for breakfast and coffee.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Dwight, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me today.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Coming up next, we've got Orange County Plastic Surgery, so stay with me.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
If you believe the journey is the destination, you'll love exploring in the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek. Standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 34 miles per gallon. An 11.6-inch high-resolution touchscreen, plus a 182-horsepower Subaru Boxer engine. Love is out there. Find it in a Crosstrek.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru. Get your new Subaru here with complimentary maintenance included.
Let's talk about touch-ups here and there. We're going to be talking with the Orange County plastic surgeons, Dr. Juris Bunkus and Deborah Ekstrom. Thank you both for joining us, both doctors, of course.
Thank you.
You guys have been doing this for a long time, so I want to kind of ask you, right off the top, what's the most rewarding part of this job? I'll ask you both this question. Rewarding or maybe even challenging part of this that people wouldn't expect?
Well, the most rewarding part is a happy patient.
Okay.
And that's what we try to achieve with all our patients. But it doesn't always happen. But the majority of the time, people are happy, and that gives us the greatest satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess I've always been about making people successful.
Okay.
And when they're comfortable in their skin, they put themselves out there more, they're more confident, and it's so gratifying to see that transformation, or people just get that increase in confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and it's the most rewarding part of the work.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people think of plastic surgery as maybe something that's a little bit superficial. I just want to look even better than I already look or something like that. But there can be some real challenges for people who come up with hair lips or things like that are very serious. That plastic surgeon can really have a life-changing experience for someone, right?
Well, that's absolutely true, and that's the part of our surgery that's called reconstructive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no less traumatic for someone to start to lose their vital look when they still feel vital inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they have that disharmony of looking in the mirror. And to adjust that and improve that can also be very gratifying, both for the patient and for yourself.
Now, sometimes I'll look at some sort of clickbait on the web and it says, certain celebrity unrecognizable after plastic surgery. So I want to ask, how do you balance like enhancing someone's appearance while still keeping like their natural, unique features of themselves, their own identity in there?
You know, I frequently ask a person to bring in a photograph of how they looked when they were younger, when we're talking about rejuvenation. And I don't want someone to look like someone they've never been. We've all seen pictures of Kenny Rogers and these folks who've had something
There's
done.
one.
And they're unrecognizable. And that's not what we do. We really strive to get a very natural appearance. And with facelift surgery, for example, the culprit is a sagging muscle underneath your skin. Gives you jowls, gives you loose neck. When you're young, your face looks like a V. As you age, it starts to turn into a pear shape. Well, you can lift the skin up and put all the muscles back where they were, and that person will look much, much more like they did when they were younger. But you can destroy all your work by pulling the skin tight.
Okay.
Because I have 40-year-old kids, and my kids can lift up their skin. They're not plastered back like this. Why would I do that to someone else?
Right.
So we tighten the underlying structure, take bags out from underneath the eyes and so forth. We don't over-pull to make somebody look artificial.
Dr. Ekstrom, is that one of the things that maybe your patients are concerned with? I want to look like me, but what I used to look like, but don't go too far?
Yes, they are so concerned about that. And we strive to make people look natural and normal. I like to tell people you're not going to get a lot of comments from your families and friends because you're going to look like how you used to look, and they're just going to take that in stride. So don't be surprised if you don't get a lot of comments. But you are going to have the face that they remember. And when we achieve that, then we feel like we've had success.
And with procedures like rhinoplasties, for example, that person will never have had a nose without a bump or whatever they're trying to fix. But you don't want to overcorrect them. You don't want to take someone with a big hump and give them an Irish scoop, because then everybody notices that, and it's not a compliment. But if you take someone with a big hump in their nose and give them a nice straight nose, I'd say 99% of the time they go back and see their friends, and no friend will notice that they had the bump taken off. And that's what we strive to do.
And there's a subtlety to it. Now, have you ever had to turn someone comes in for a procedure? No, I want something, and you say, I don't think we're the right people for you.
Absolutely.
Because you have to stand by where you want to be able to say, I helped someone, not kind of, you maybe in your sense, maybe took someone in the wrong direction.
Sure, and where we see this a lot as well is where people coming in and asking for liposuction. You'll have men in particular who have very little external fat, but they have a round little belly, internal fat, beer belly, whatever you want to call it. They come in and ask for a liposuction. There's not a chance in the world you'll make them look better with the liposuction. And then I actually buy them a book from Amazon and send it to them on how to lose weight. But I'm not going to do surgery on them. Because that's the wrong thing to do.
It takes it maybe that step too far. Let me ask about plastic surgeries, maybe perhaps even a facelift. Is there a certain age that's ideal to start doing procedures like that? Or is there, you're in your 70s now, it's a little too late for that? Is there a certain time frame that's just right?
It's not usually too late. There's usually something you can do. But the classic standby is 45 to 55 for the first facelift. And of course, I wasn't in that age group anymore when I had my first facelift, but that's kind of the standby. That being said, some people need intervention fairly early. Other people can go longer. So some of it depends on your genes, your aging, how much sun exposure you've had, and obviously in California we have a little bit more sun exposure. So it is somewhat individual, but that's kind of the standby thought.
Okay. Now, Dr. Ekstrom said your first facelift. Are there people who come in, and is it a kind of a regular thing? Okay, we're going to kind of do tune-ups, and can it be subtle like that?
When you have a facelift, usually you turn the clock back about 15 years.
Okay.
So if you're 50 years old, you have it done, you're going to look like you did before you were 40. Not the texture of your skin. If it's weathered from the sun, that's not going to change, but I'm talking about the contour and the shape. From that point forward, you continue to age at the same rate you would have had you not had the surgery. And that means if you have a facelift at 50 and you come in when you're 80, you're going to look like you're 65. And I'm a good example of that. I had one about 12 years ago. Today, I look way better than I did 13, 14 years ago, but I don't look as good as I did 10 years ago because things have loosened a little bit. And some people will come and have a second lift. If it's reasonable, we'll be happy to do it for them. But once you have one, most people are not inclined to have a second one because they look better than all their friends their age.
The other thing to remember is that as we age, our bone gets thin and we lose the natural fat that is in our face. So obviously, the upholstery being tightened and everything being put back where it belongs isn't going to last forever. So because we do change, and we like to think we change all the time, but we actually change in fits and starts.
Right. It's subtle. I mean, it's a gradual process of aging. It's just like anything in life, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What are some of the trends now that are going on? And I remember the shelf for girls and their butts for a little while was a thing. And are the trends now, or what do you guys think of like the latest things, or what are people asking for?
For breasts, many of the people who had those humongous implants put in the 80s are now coming in and going with smaller ones and having lifts. Or even having them removed. If they've gained some weight, they have a little more volume, they'll have them take it out. But face-wise, rhinoplasty-wise, I think the biggest difference from 20 years ago is that people tend to want to be overdone less. People aren't asking to be overdone. Whereas I remember 20 years ago, whether I was doing a nose, a breast, or a facelift, everybody was showing me with their fingers what they wanted, and it was always a little bit overdone. And I never was part of that game. I never wanted to do those.
As far as
sorry,
as far as trends go,
okay.
smaller breasts, smaller butts.
Smaller.
Yeah, that's definitely the trend, and I think it's going to go on for a decade or more.
Okay.
Not going as big in either direction. In fact, starting to do what he said, coming back, getting them made smaller.
Okay. I was going to ask you, are there regional trends? Because there's an East Coast, West Coast experience that you've had.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
There is for sure. So I think more drama on the West Coast. There's more, people are in general more body conscious. People also are much more interested in on a whole makeover, whereas they like to do that stepwise on the East Coast. So it's a very different mindset, but the same endpoint.
Right. So you're going in the same direction, we're just getting there in a different route kind of thing. Is there one thing that you wish more patients knew or understood before they come in for a consultation? Like the one that they just don't, maybe people just don't understand about plastic surgery that you want to let them know?
Yeah, our biggest job is to give patients realistic expectations. And there are many who come in who ask us for results that are not reasonable.
Okay.
And we have to tell them what the individual procedures will accomplish. A liposuction will remove the excess fat, it's not going to tighten your skin.
Okay.
A facelift will help your contour, but it's not going to help your surface of your skin.
The actual texture.
If you have your eyelids done, your bags will be gone, the extra skin will be gone, but when you smile, you'll still have crow's feet. So it's very important for us to educate the patient on realistic expectations.
The other thing is that people now that do something they couldn't do 10 years ago, which is tremendous amount of research on the internet. And not all of it is good information.
Yes.
So helping them to sort out what's real from what's not, and then to talk about their canvas, not a blank canvas. So they might look at a picture and say, I want to look like this, but their body type doesn't really accommodate that. So as he talked about, you have to create realistic expectations with what you're starting with.
Buyer beware. Make sure to go to Orange County Plastic Surgery for that consultation. Make sure you get their good advice from professionals. Thank you very much, Dr. Buckus, and thank you, Dr. Ekstrom, for coming in
Thank you
today.
so much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
The Laguna Woods History Center has been capturing the legacy of our community since 1977. As a nonprofit dedicated to preserving today for tomorrow, we collect, conserve, and share the history of Laguna Woods Village, the city of Laguna Woods, and the surrounding Orange County region. Step into the past and connect with the present at your community archive. Visit us and find your place in history.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I hope you loved that segment. It was fun watching Michael. Let's take a look at our weather. Today's going to be absolutely beautiful, folks. We're looking for a high of 86 before we start tapering off. Tomorrow, 82, tapering down to 74 by Friday, and then hopefully back up a little bit on Saturday. Tomorrow on This Day, we've got a recreation update with William Arcero, and then the Aerospace Club of Laguna Woods Village is going to be here. I'm really looking forward to talking with them. Looking forward to seeing you back here, and that's going to do it for this episode of This Day. From all of us here, we wish yours a beautiful one. See you tomorrow.